can see where he is at the end of turn 3, and we have our first full course caution.
And Marty, it looked like he had damage to the right front when the car was rolling to a stop. It looks like the right front wheel has been dislodged for some reason, so we'll have to find out what happened, if it was a mechanical or if he's impacted the wall. And here's our answer right now. 2 cars trying to fit in the same area, and usually that's a bad scenario. And for Takuma Sato right now, he ends up being taken out.
And that's both KV Racing teammates right there. That's not going to go over well, because that is now the 19th incident of contact involving this team this year. To give you an idea, Dreyer Reinbold said they had a bad year last year with 15 for the entire season, and it will be the 6th DNF alone here in the 10th race for Takuma Sato, as we have our first full course caution. And this is on the cusp of being inside the window. Everybody was talking about lap 18. We're on lap 16.
Well, and everybody's going to take advantage of that. They will come in. They will put on tires, obviously, and some fuel. And track position is so important here. So watch for some pressure on the pit crew right now to get the work completed as quickly as possible to get their driver out ahead of everybody else.
As you can see, they'll make another lap, as pit lane has not yet been opened. You know, when Justin Wilson won back here in 2005, he only led the final 10 laps. Well, today he's not only led the first 10, he's led the first 17. But he's hoping that it will be the same result.
And for me, I'm going to be very interested to see if he goes ahead and puts another set of black tires on, or if he goes ahead and puts a set of red tires on, because reds aren't always the fastest tires. Sometimes you can put that red tire on your car and it changes the balance and the handling of the car, and some drivers prefer the original standard black tires.
And that's what Vince was saying in his report, that Justin said he really likes the performance of the black. But do you want to then button yourself into a hole where you have to put the reds on as your final set?
Well, as the rule is, you do have to put that brand new set of red alternate tires on at least for 2 laps. So team decision, we'll have to find out what they go with here shortly.
Well, we may get our answer in the not too distant future. They're now down into the turn 3 section, and get a good look at everybody as they come through. Great paint job, and you ought to see the reaction of the young kids around that 77 of Alex Tagliani, the Hot Wheels machine. They're going to sell a few of those when that comes out in September on the collector car circuit.
Marty, for all these drivers right now, also, as rough and as punishing as this racetrack is, they're probably welcoming this yellow. They're probably just regaining an opportunity to have a bit of a hand stretch in the car and take their breath, because your heart rate is up all the time. Making changes here in the pits will be important, either tire pressures or wings.
Okay, so Paul Tracy is our biggest mover so far, as we get the word pit lane is open. Bertrand Baguette picked up 3 spots from where he started. Tracy picked up 6. Our race leader from the start has been Justin Wilson. And as they pull it in, let's quickly send it in to Rick DeBrule.
And let's start off by talking about Alex Tagliani. You talked about that paint job. It's designed to mimic kind of the generic Indy car that they've got out there with the flames. The good news, they were able to get both sponsors on this car. He's bringing the car in. He's been uncomfortable with the fact that it's been very loose. No actual changes other than tire pressure changes. Vince?
Justin Wilson in the 22, earning the pole position, was a huge boost for him. They've gone to the sticker reds. Jamie?
Elio Castroneves, you see him sliding out of his pit box. He put on some black scuff tires, took off the reds fuel. No changes for the 3 car.
And there is our race off pit road as Castroneves and Franchitti beat Wilson. He loses 3 spots. Power also picks up 2 positions. So the pit stop really hurts Justin Wilson here under the caution, as you get to look at Paul Tracy as he stayed out, and so did, it looked like, the 14 right there of Vitor Meira. So we'll find out what this folds or unfolds as far as strategy when we come back, as we go side by side. Still under caution gives us a chance to talk about baseball, as we'll round the bases with ESPN tonight and tomorrow night. First, it's Ryan Howard and the Phillies taking on Alfonso Soriano and the Cubs. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball at 8 Eastern. And then on ESPN's Monday Night Baseball at 7 Eastern, the Phillies head to St. Louis to face Albert Pujols and the Cardinals. Both games available on ESPN3.com. As we mentioned, under our first caution, there is the nose camera view from Ryan Hunter-Reay. You feel like you're literally riding right on the road. Been told by race control we will not go green this time by, so a little bit of time to talk a bit about strategy. You know, we sometimes make the assumption that a a stop like what happened to Justin Wilson is something that went wrong in his pit box, but let's throw out the possibility of potentially short filling.
Well, in short filling, if the Penske cars did what they call short fill, they didn't take a full load of fuel. And when you're at the end of pit lane like they are, they can look up the pit lane and see that Justin Wilson is about ready to leave his pit box. He's somewhere about in the middle of pit lane. They can pull up their fuel probe, drop their drivers on the ground, and send them out. And for Helio Castroneves, I mean, he gained a position. Will Power stay stationary, but when you look at Justin Wilson, to lose 3 spots, they either going to have to do a little quicker pit stops or else possibly come with a short fill if that's exactly what Penske did.
All right, let's reset this for you because Paul Tracy and Vitor Meira did not stop. They are still out there, first and second. And then it's Helio Castroneves, Dario Franchitti, Will Power, Justin Wilson, Ryan Hunter-Reay, Tony Kanaan, Scott Dixon, and Ryan Briscoe. Danica Patrick is shown in 11th position. And the reason for this caution was the damage to Takuma Sato's car. Jamie Little's caught up with him.
And he's walking back to his pit box right now. Takuma, you made that long walk down pit road and you don't look happy. What happened?
No, I mean, we were side by side completely, and Mario Moraes basically closed the door. We were, completely side by side. Just absolutely no point in shut the door like that. I had nowhere to go because already the wheel inside like this, and I had nowhere to go.
All right, thank you for your time. Takuma Sato is out early. Marty.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun team meeting at the end of the day. Takuma obviously not happy as we get ready to go back to green flag racing through turn 11. Here comes your leader, Paul Tracy, and the Canadian fans are standing in the front grandstand cheering on their local hero.
You can see he drove it in very hard down into turn 1. The back end of the car almost started to slide around a little bit. Remember, he did not come in for the pit lane. His tires might be a little warmer than the ones that have fresh tires on there, but for Paul Tracy, he's going to have to pedal that thing extra hard, as right now, Power's going to...
Contact! Look out! Castroneves has contact with Vitor Meira, and he is hard into the tire barrier at turn 3. This is about the same location where he started his contact last year, as there is Tim Cindric looking on the monitor.
And, that was somewhat similar to what happened last weekend at Watkins Glen with Dixon trying to go around Castroneves. Unfortunately, it was Castroneves on the backside this time. You have to time those passes correctly so you don't end up getting your front wing into the rear of the car that you're trying to pass.
The Homaltro safety crew on the scene, and they're checking on Helio, making sure that he is okay. View from high above, and you can see how hard he went in because the contact moving all of those tire barriers a full car length back from where they were.
And you can see Helio moving inside the cockpit. They will take their time to make sure everything is okay with Helio, and team owner Roger Penske is looking on. Now remember, when he loses the wheel as he did when he comes down, he does not have any brakes left on the car. So he really could not slow the car down too much before it went down the escape road at the end of the straight and into the tire barrier.
All right, there you see that Helio is climbing out of the cockpit of the car. That's the best sign. You can hear the crowd in the background applauding as they're looking on the big screens around the track. One man not applauding, and there's another, as they are now down to 2 competitors. All right, check the left side of your screen.
Yeah, because we had 2 situations going here. Both the Penske cars are trying to make a pass on the cars in front, and just see how close that was. He just caught the back end of Vitor Meira's car, took off the wheel. Like I said, the brakes are no longer working. He is slowing the speed somewhat, but when you go into the tire barrier, it's still an impact.
You're right. If you take a look at last week's race where Scott Dixon, he clipped, it wasn't as severe a damage. They cut tire and also had wing damage, but nobody got launched like this.
Yeah, and a moment before that happened, we were watching Will Power trying to go around Dario Franchitti. So both the Penske cars were trying to make a major pass at the end of the straightaway.
So our second caution, as we have now completed the 22 of 85 laps, and you can see that the crews are getting the damaged vehicle out. Helio is inside that safety vehicle. He'll make the mandatory trip to the infield care center. We'll get an update on his condition as soon as we can.
And for Paul Tracy, he likes to see this yellow right now because he gets to conserve a little bit of